Welcome to the second episode of this podcast. We got an amazing guest here, and we will dive deep into what he is doing, Mr. Quintin, and go from there. What's up, everyone? This is Chris Haith here. Welcome to this podcast. I want to introduce you to an amazing guest, my guy Quintin. Quintin, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you for inviting me over here. Thank you, other Chris, for being so hospitable, as we arrived.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so I thought it was really cool how you were able to find me. So you said you had a friend that follows me that referred me to you.
Yes, that's correct. Actually, it's someone in the banking industry.
Really?
Yeah, they work for Bank of America, and they know about me, my business, and my venture, and so they send me an Instagram message saying, "Hey, you should reach out to Chris. He's cool. His content's nice, and see if you guys can collab." And so the rest is history.
Yeah, that is so cool. And so when he referred you over and thought it would be helpful for your business, what do you do?
That's a great question. Well, it's very complicated, honestly. So,
Yeah.
how familiar are you with the legislative process?
Not very familiar at all.
Excellent. So, do you know who your legislators are?
I do not.
Where do you live?
I live in Thomas.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know the exact boundary that you live within, but it's probably Chris McCarty, and then your senator. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not sure about your senator, but essentially what we do for businesses, we help people have their voices heard with the state legislature and with their representatives.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're helping small business owners be able to communicate their concerns with whatever they're having and they're seeing in their industry to their lawmakers, so that when it comes time to crafting policy, they're able to do so with an informed background, and to be able to properly represent their constituents who they're supposed to legislate on behalf of. So that's what we do. We narrow down and make it a very streamlined process for our clients and for our users, and we allow them to basically have their voices heard in the most simple way I could put it.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That's great.
And then I actually have another small business. I'll just touch base on everything real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot to handle, but the other business is a small lobbying practice. So I work directly hand in hand with a nonprofit organization, and I manage their legislative affairs with the state capitol. So essentially that looks like, scheduling meetings, having meetings, bill tracking, providing testimonies in committees.
Wow.
Introducing legislation, identifying authors, anything related to the legislative process, I work on for them.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I work on is a nonprofit organization. It's called Self-Sustaining Schools. And so, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah,
so what we do with that is we partner with schools in the state of California currently. We would like to expand to the entire nation, but right now we partner with schools, and what we do is we build hydroponic systems.
Hydroponic. What is that?
So it's basically a way to grow food without soil and with minimal water usage.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How does that work?
Oh, man. Well, I like to utilize gravity. So we try and build systems that utilize gravity. So if you could picture an A-frame, right? So
Yes.
Here's an A-frame. And then we would have pipes that go down each side, kind of zigzagging downwards. And we have holes in those pipes. And so you would put a small, very young plant with roots in that hole or in a cup.
Okay.
So that its roots can dangle down into the water, and that water is rich with nutrients. And so the plant is being able to grow just with the most important aspect, water, and then the nutrients that our students are using or putting into the water, so that the plants can grow.
Gee.
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
That's a great question. I've always been very interested in plants and just the natural world. However, it initially started as a class project. So we had a senior project at Sac State. I went to CSUS, and
Nice, me too. Stingers.
Go Stingers. And our goal was to do like a final project with, it was like project management, essentially. Environmentally related project, and our goal was to manage an entire project. And the project that I thought of was to partner with the school and provide students with an ongoing educational opportunity to learn about sustainability and agriculture.
Yes.
They say if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
Yep.
If you teach a man how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So
Yep.
we're trying to combat food insecurity and just unhealthy foods by creating more accessible, localized food infrastructure systems that rely on available human capital, students, to maintain. And so that's how it started.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
I wonder, so for the person who wants food fast food, how would, like, when the food that you have becomes more streamlined and more how you say it, more available, how would you be able to get someone to say, okay, I don't want fast food, but I want this fast?
Well, I would say it's quicker to go to your hydroponic system and pull out some leafy greens and eat those than it would be to get in your car and drive to Chipotle and wait in line and buy a burrito that costs, anywhere from $10 to $12 because their prices just recently went up. I would say, if you're hungry, eat food that adds value to your life, and things that grow in those types of systems, they're typically very healthy for you.
Good.
So I'm not sure if that answered your question, but
yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Man, that's so cool. I'm really impressed. Really impressed. And then, so with the lawmaking process for small businesses, how did you get into that?
Well, this is kind of a roundabout story here, but as I began advocating with the state legislature, I started to realize a lot of barriers. And I also have to do a quick shout out to Josiah Young, who is my mentor, and I interned underneath him. He's a lobbyist and lawyer here in Sacramento.
Wow.
And he's the best attorney, so if you need to consult with one, hit up Josiah Young.
Hit him up.
Anyways, so we would advocate together. I helped him support his lobbying efforts as a support lobbyist under the law office of Josiah Young. We advocated for the California Natural Gas Vehicle Coalition as well as the Bioenergy Association of California. And so what we did was we advocated for the implementation of heavy-duty low-NOx trucks.
Oh, wow.
In the transportation sector. And so essentially, conventional and renewable natural gas is a lot cleaner than diesel.
Yes.
And so what we were looking to do is set aside funding and incentivize the implementation of this technology into the sector so that we can drive down greenhouse gas emissions. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but a lot of minority communities and poorer communities are disproportionately impacted by air quality because they are the ones that are jammed up and they live next to transportation corridors.
Yes.
You have your interstates and your freeways, those types of corridors. And so we were working on that. And we also worked on other issues related to converting woody agricultural waste into clean energy. So my background in education is environmental studies, and so that's how I got into the field. He needed help providing his services for these clients that were, very scientifically technical. Yeah. And it was a great opportunity for me. So right out of the bat, I was able to have my dream job, essentially. It was a great experience. Now, as we were progressing through those days and through those experiences, we realized that there's a lot of barriers to the process and to being able to stay informed and to properly represent yourself. Because it's an industry in its own, it's hard to navigate. And so you have to have specialized knowledge that people do not have. Sometimes business owners are more inclined to have that knowledge just because
research.
There you have it.
Yeah.
And so we would have a lot of discussions about, how to streamline the process and how to empower people and how to give them the tools that they need in order to represent themselves and stay up to date. And so it really took a lot of conversations, a lot of deep thinking and problem solving in order to get into that niche, to be able to provide that service.
So would you happen to have like an example of like a small business that helped out?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, there's laws that are passed. There's hundreds of laws that are passed every year.
Yeah.
The most recent example I could give is a bill, AB 3163, and so that really changed the natural gas industry. So what it did was it changed the small definition of biomethane to include other types of feedstocks. So essentially what happened was they changed the definition of this word, and now we in the state of California can access greater feedstocks to make biomethane for the natural gas industry. And so it really helped, it helped the state increase its availability of renewable natural gas. So that's like another technical example. I'm trying to think of a simpler one for you. Say for instance, here's an example, right? Like, it's a bill that would mandate everyone has to lift weights 5 days a week, right? Doesn't make sense. But they introduce bills that don't make sense to me, and then they also pass. But that's aside from the point. So, let's just say there's a bill that would mandate everyone has to lift weights 5 days a week, and there's gonna be people who don't want to do that. And so, what we would do is we would be able to help you. I mean, you look like you lift weights. Chris looks like he lifts weights and runs. I know
I'm a tad bit.
Sade lifts weights too. So
good.
If there was a group of people that did not want that, right? We would help them, schedule meetings. We would help them submit letters of opposition. We would help them communicate the detriment that bill / law would have if it were to be passed. And so that's another example for you.
It seems like that would be very exhausting. So that's where I think that helps out a lot too. Is because if you had to lift 5 days a week all the time, you'd see some quote unquote like injuries or things like that, and then they just want to maybe even quit doing it altogether. So I think that is amazing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of unintended consequences, right? Like if we were to make people lift 5 days a week, that seems at the surface level like, okay, everyone's lifting, they're being more active, but I didn't even think about the unintended consequences, people hurting themselves, them getting calluses, a lot of more vehicles on the road, and those are all things that would happen if that were to be passed. And so, the lawmaking process is very, very complex, and trying to take all that into account for is a miraculous feature, and that's why we do see bills become law that intended to be good, but then because of the unseen, unintended consequences, they end up being bad. And so that's just the nature of the beast,
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. So with having these three businesses, what do you have time to do for fun?
I have time to lift weights. 5
Good.
days a week.
I get it.
I run some miles here. I was telling Chris earlier, I work on music too when I can.
Nice.
It's interesting. It's a creative outlet for me. Lifting weights is cool, and playing basketball is less cool because someone always has something to say, or
of course.
You probably hoop, right?
A little bit
here and there.
Yeah.
So you know how it's just court politics, right?
Yep.
So I just recently started getting into music. I have a son, so I spend time with my son.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations, pops.
Yeah.
How old is he?
6.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. He just had his first basketball game about a week and a half ago. He dropped like 32 points.
Hey, Yes,
I
sir.
said, hey, yo, okay. But he did get a little cocky though in the middle. He started dancing. I was like, okay, let's chill.
We're gonna have to humble him, play that 1v1 real quick.
But yeah, he don't like that.
I know he don't.
He gets so mad.
That's okay. That's gonna make him,
Yeah.
more hungry.
Yeah.
So, is he into any other sports?
So we've done baseball, golf, tennis, swimming, tumbling and gymnastics, basketball. He has been really interested in football lately, and I'm really nervous about that.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, a lot of kids aren't strong enough to like really hit someone, but there's a couple out there. Nervous.
Blow your socks off.
Yeah. So that's what I'm
Cleats,
wondering.
poop,
Yeah.
right off.
Yeah. So someone suggested to do flag football. See how he likes that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Golf.
Yeah. Yeah. He likes golf too. Yeah.
Football is a great sport, though.
It is.
Did you play?
No, my mom wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
But she let my brothers play though. Whatever.
Wow.
She said I break a leg. But what's funny is my brother broke his leg. Yeah.
Before or after she said that?
After.
Yeah, she manifested it, man.
She did. She did. She was right. With lifting the weights, what gym do you go to?
I actually go to 24 Hour.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The one downtown?
I just go to where I get in where I fit in, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what area are you living in right now?
That's highly classified.
Oh, shit. Got you. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
highly classified.
Cool.
I do live in the county though, and
Good.
I'm looking to move. Honestly,
Yeah.
I like Natomas. Natomas is North Natomas.
Yeah.
South Natomas isn't too bad, but as you would know, I think the housing market just isn't quite ready for me.
Okay.
So I'm looking to move here probably within a year though,
Nice.
to somewhere else. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have any suggestions for me?
So what do you like to do for fun? Other than like lift weights and then making music, what would you like to have close to you?
I would like to be able to ride my bike and not get hit by a car or truck.
Okay.
And I would also
I don't follow.
and I would also like to be somewhat close to either a river or downtown. If not, those three things.
So I would say the Pocket area, because you'd be really close to the river, but then also close to downtown. La Riviera, because you're still close to American River, and you just go to 50 real quick. And then, let's see, West Sac.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do like West Sac. West Sac is outside of Smud too, so
it is.
we could sell solar out there.
Cool. So you do solar too? Oh my God. How many things you got?
Too many, man.
Too many?
Too many. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. So bike riding close to the river. Do you do like any kayaking or paddleboarding or anything like that?
I would.
Yeah.
I've definitely been into water activities. I love swimming. I just never had a kayak. But if I had one, I would for sure plop that down in the river and just start moving.
It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I started doing it not too long ago. At first, I was like, I don't know why people do this, and then I tried. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty nice. Yeah, like when I went to Tahoe, and I was like, this is actually super peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
It's super chill. Like even going to like waterfalls, I did not get the hype about it until I went to Bernie Falls and got down there, and all thing I heard was just the waterfalls, nothing else, and it was like meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like in my industry, it's like a non-stop. Like I'll get hit up late at night or early in the morning, and it's like just keeps going. So kind of an outlet for me is I go to 9 Round and do like the kickboxing gym. The reason why I do that one is because there's like trainers that will help you out, and it's like 3-minute rounds, like nonstop. Then you get a 30-second break, but it's like some kind of activity during that 30-second break, and so I don't have time to think about anything else. It's just in that moment. So that's one of the outlets for me. And so man, now got me thinking too. So yeah, so with that outlet, the kayaking, the falls, being close to water, that is a really, really important thing to me as well.
Yeah, I found that water is very healing.
Yeah.
And even when you're like underwater, when you're swimming underwater,
Yeah.
there's something about that. It's like you're in a different world. Yeah, you weigh less. You just feel so much different. And I love the water. And I think that when you're around waterfalls,
Mm-hmm.
I may be wrong here, but I think that there's positively charged ions because of the waterfall
Man.
in the air, and so that has a healing effect, obviously for your mind and your body, and that's why we go to water.
Man, that is amazing to hear. And then what do you like about Sacramento?
Oh, well, I actually grew up in Merced, so
Really?
there's not much to do in Merced.
My barber grew up in Merced too.
Who's your barber?
Ty Barber sign.
I know Tyler.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know Tyler. I
Nice.
played football with Tyler.
Really? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm a cynical.
Yeah, it was a good time, actually. I didn't play with him my junior year because he's a year older than me. I played with him in Pop Warner.
Nice.
So he's always been a good athlete, great athlete, yeah. And their team was amazing. Oh, my gosh. He played on one of the best teams in the Central Valley, the state has ever seen. They had grown men, I'm telling you, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a different era of football when they were playing. It was real smash mouth. Like, they had some big boys, Matt Cochran, Aaron Cochran, Aziz Shatu. These were people that they all went to college, on scholarships. Aziz played at Philadelphia.
Wow.
Matt Cochran was like 6'3", like 350, 330. Aaron was like 6'8", like 330, 350. Like, these are some like big boys, and they was moving people around.
Yeah.
And they went really far. They went really far, and Tyler played on that team, and so yeah, just good times, man, good times. Football brought me and that guy together.
Yeah. Man. And so you definitely love sports. So who's your favorite team?
The one I'm playing on.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't really have a team. I don't idolize, a basketball team or a football team or anything like that. I have players that I like, like Christian McCaffrey. He's pretty good right now.
Yeah. I was so hurt that my team, Carolina Panthers, because that's where I'm from, North Carolina, that they traded him over to the Niners. But I get it. They just want to, blow it up, start all over, because it's not looking too good for us. But
yeah.
C-Mac's doing good too, so
they should have kept him. They should have kept him, man. Him and Debo are tearing it up.
Yeah.
Tearing it up. And Purdy too.
Yeah. It's okay, Purdy. Do your
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And then so do you go to like any games?
Nah,
No.
I don't. I have. It's been a minute. I actually did go to a 49ers game maybe 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been some time, but yeah, I don't do that too much.
I get it.
I would.
Yeah.
I would. It's just I haven't.
Do you feel that more people in Sacramento like the 49ers or the Raiders?
Oh, well, I'm just going to have to go with 49ers.
Yeah.
Yeah. 49ers.
Yeah, I've noticed there's like a lot of people here that like 49ers, but then there's a solid amount of people that like the Raiders, even though that they moved too.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, okay, maybe Sacramento should possibly think about getting a football team.
They should. That's a great
We already got
idea.
like 4 teams. Might as well add another one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That would be awesome, honestly.
I want to ask too, what's your inspiration? What keeps you motivated to keep going?
Oh man, that's a deep one. I would say 2 things. The first thing that comes to my mind is my family. I have a son, and I want him to be able to have a role model. And growing up, and even now, I feel like as young men, there's not too many role models out there right now, or leaders either. And so that's kind of what inspires me, just the fact that I have someone following my footsteps, and I want to be able to make sure, I set the right example, and that he knows that anything is possible, and whatever he wants to achieve, he can achieve it with conscious, deliberate, determined effort, and taking action and being concise and precise about those actions. So that's my first inspiration. And then my second is just God, and making sure that I fulfill my purpose, because I believe that we're all put here for a very particular reason, and finding out what that reason is hard, and it's confusing in today's age with all of the distractions that we have around us. But I believe that right now I'm in my rightful place.
Yeah.
And I pray and I work hard every day to make sure that I get to my true place, which is, where I was destined to be. And so that's my second inspiration, which is also greater than the first inspiration, but the first one is the first one that came to my mind.
Of course. I want to thank everyone for taking your time to watch this. You will see it on YouTube, TikTok, IG, Facebook, maybe even Pinterest too. We'll see. Where can we find you?
You can find me here. I'll pull up on you whenever you need me to.
Okay.
You could also find me at my Instagram. I could just share that with you.
Yeah.
And then my phone number, my website. We have a website as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just share that with you, and then we could maybe put it up.
Cool. Hey, man, I want to say thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you,
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Man. Thank you too, Chris.